Japan always seems to draw us back. Its neon-lit cities, mystical culture, friendly people, and of course, the cars. We're back in Japan because we've bought a car off the internet, and today we're heading 500 kilometres from Tokyo into the countryside to see it for the very first time. And to get there, we're in a car that Marty's picked up, and by the looks of it and the sound of it, it'll be a miracle if we actually make it.
This is a little Honda Vamus. It's a van.
A turbo van.
A turbo van, although they call this an SUV.
I think they call it a leisure SUV. But this is actually quite a unique little van, isn't it, Martin?
Yeah. It's mid-engine.
Yes.
Rear-wheel drive, turbo, which just ticks all the boxes for me. But it's just so practical. There's heaps of room. I've got like room above my head. There's room for us to hang out. There's room for people in the back if we had friends.
And of course, it is sporting the yellow plate. So this is a key car, which means it's a small engine, 3-cylinder, 660,
Yep.
thereabouts. And we are about 1,000 kilometres from Tokyo. We are out in the middle of the country somewhere. We're on our way to a farm, Martin. We have bought a car off the internet.
A very, very special car, sight unseen.
A very, very special car. We have seen some photos, but we have purchased the car and now we have flown into Japan to pick it up. We're heading to a shed in the middle of a rice paddy on an old farm. Look at this is beautiful. We're picking up a car that has made its way here from the South Island of Japan.
Yep.
And then it's been transported up here, is being stored in a tractor shed of some kind. And we're about to go and see it for the very first time and see what our money actually bought us. Buying cars on the internet in Japan, I highly recommend it. It's frightening.
None of the streets have names around here.
No, it's a bit hard to find your way around.
They don't, yeah, you never needed to back in the day.
Yeah, hang a right down there.
Yep.
Yep, and then maybe just leave it here and we'll walk up. This is it, man. I'm nervous and excited.
Me too.
Buying stuff off the internet can be nerve-wracking, and buying a car, it's a big gamble. We bought this after seeing just 6 photos of it, with no inspection and no mechanical report. We've made our way to an old farm where our car's being stored, and after weeks of waiting, it's finally time to see what we've bought. This is a Nissan Fairlady Z, also known as an S30 and referred to internationally as a 240Z. This car is one of the most iconic JDM cars of all time. They were produced by Nissan in Japan between 1969 and 1978 and helped generate international excitement and acceptance of Japanese vehicles as legitimate sports cars, not just producers of cheap runabouts. The Fairlady offered Porsche-like performance at a much cheaper price and had the benefit of renowned Japanese reliability. Unlike the 2.4-litre engines that appeared in the US market, the JDM Fairlady Z features a 2-litre inline-6 that makes around 130 horsepower. The Fairlady Z went on to become one of the most successful sports cars of all time, and the first generation of future cars such as the 300ZX, 350Z and 370Z. This one is absolutely superb and almost entirely original. It seems so far the gamble has paid off, but now it's time to go for a drive and see if our 4-decade-old engine is actually up to the task.
So here we are, Martin. We're in Japan, driving around with our new /42-year-old
Unbelievable.
Nissan Fairlady S30.
Is this the oldest car you've driven?
We drove some pretty old ones in Lend Us a Ride.
And in Cuba.
But I think this is the oldest Japanese car that I've ever driven.
Yeah.
What an amazing thing.
I have to say, like, it's beautiful. Like, the finish is way better than I ever expected in something this age.
It's so, and no rattles.
No.
So smooth.
Quiet.
So nice and quiet. And this car was bought completely sight unseen off the internet. Literally, send some photos. Yes, just commit to buying it, and here it is. I think in America they sold these as a Datsun 240Z or a 260 or a 280, and that kind of designated how big the engine was, whether it was a 2.4 litre, 2.6 or a 2.8.
Yep.
And those were kind of newer models as well.
Yep.
But here they're an S30. They're called a Nissan Fairlady Z, and this is a 2 litre engine, Martin, 6-cylinder.
Fairlady. I mean, these were the cars. These were a big deal. And the name stayed, didn't it?
This is the grandfather of the 300ZX.
It is.
And then the 350Z and the 370Z. But if you don't mind me saying so, I think a whole lot cooler.
What does it feel like?
It feels amazingly tight. You know, sometimes you get in old cars and you turn the steering wheel one way and the car wants to go the other way. That is not the case at all. It feels tight. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big steering wheel and it's a little bit bussy, but man, it feels fantastic. It's heavy, obviously. There's no power steering.
Yep.
It's so long down the front.
Imagine getting this in 1975, which I think this is the year of this car. Imagine getting this and just cruising through, like, you know, down a highway in Tokyo.
Well, Martin, we're going to be cruising down a highway in Australia in this car, which is amazing. And being a 1975 model, we don't need to do compliance on this. We just bring it in, and then the fun can begin.
So, is it a Nissan or a Datsun? That's what everyone wants to know. Because I don't know.
Martin, I'm going to answer that question for you. We are in Japan. This is the JDM model. It's called a Nissan, therefore it's a Nissan.
It's a Nissan. Nissan and Datsun are the same, right?
I don't know, Martin. I don't know. I mean, people talk about that stuff all the time. I don't really care. I just want to drive the car. So, Marty, the good news is that we are in Japan with our new car, and we have a day before this car actually gets shipped back to Australia, so we got to find some stuff to do.
Dude, I know what we're doing.
What are we doing?
You ready for this?
Yes.
Do you know what's 1 hour from where we are right now?
What's 1 hour from where we are right now?
One of the best racetracks in the entire world.
Shut the front door, Martin. Just shut it.
Suzuka Circuit.
Which way is it?
I don't know.
Left or right?
We want to go up there. You can do it.
No.
You can do it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a road?
Yep. It is now. To go track. I don't even know if this is a road, dude.
Come on, man.
This is a footpath. It's like a farmer's track. If you can go left, otherwise you can go straight.
Everyone's looking at us like we're idiots. I don't know why, do you?
No.
Because we are idiots. I'm blocking the highway.
Can't be an idiot in this car. Hey.
We're so lost.
With no idea where we were or where we were going, we realised we're in a Fairlady Z and we're in Japan. Maybe we should just stay lost for a while.
It's easy to get carried away driving this car in these surroundings, and it was all going perfectly.
We just ran out of fuel in our mad car. Because I believe this car was pre-fuel crisis. Or maybe it was around the fuel crisis.
Martin, I was so excited driving it that I didn't even look at the fuel gauge. That's a fact.
This is an economical 2 litre, right? And it just started to rain. So we ran out of fuel, side of the road, with rain on us. But I'm loving it. I really like this car.
It is good.
It's really good. It's gooder than I thought it would be.
Almost as good as a mirror, isn't it, Martin?
Almost.
It's pouring with rain. Our car's broken. That's about the update so far.
Are you just gonna crank it for a bit? Yes!
We think it had an airlock.
We are back on the road with enough fuel to get the Fairlady Z back to a safe place. This is where our car will leave Japan to get shipped to Australia, but it doesn't need to be back here until tonight, so that leaves us a little bit of time.
This is a car that is over 40 years old. It is a car that we've only known for just a matter of minutes, so we're going to give it a quick once-over, a quick service, then we're going to get a truck, throw it on the back, and hit up some mad laps.
We've been using a localised trade car permit which allowed us to drive around this area, but now that we're leaving the prefecture, we've hired a truck to take our car to the racetrack. You can get these for around $100 a day, and with an auto ratcheting system plus a remote controlled tilt tray, this is the easiest and cheapest way of getting the car around Japan.
Best truck ever.
So you can hire this for $100.
$100 and take your car to the racetrack. Strapping the car is no problem. Suzuka circuit is about 1 hour away.
With our car fully checked over and strapped down to the truck, we are on the road to Suzuka. Up ahead, we've spotted an Up Garage, Japan's incredible second-hand auto parts chain store, so we're stopping in for a quick look around.
Japan, well done on being so awesome with all of your second-hand stuff. Like, it just makes so much sense when it's all arranged properly. Like this, people actually want to buy stuff. Exhaust for days. Konnichiwa. Lights, springs, coilovers, like, it's just awesome. Gauges, lights, stereo components, and the stuff is cheap.
While Moog was busy checking out all of the mad parts, something even more exciting caught my eye outside.
This is a Mira Gino that this nice gentleman has built. He's put a JB DET in it, which I believe is a 4-cylinder out of a Copen, I'm pretty sure. And they came out in a couple of other engines. 3 or 4? 4-cylinder. Yeah, 4-cylinder out of Copen. Yeah, Copen. There you go. From a Copen, which is pretty cool. He's got the full Gino swap on it, turbo, custom pipes. Top mount intercooler, so he's got some custom pipe that brings it up onto the big intercooler he's got at the top here.
And Martin, let's not forget his BMW M Series badge.
Yeah, anything goes.
Anything goes in Japan.
Another one, look at this.
We're just out here at our Up Garage, and a couple of Genos turned up and a Mira, so we thought we would jump in and have a look.
He made his own custom headers, like lobster back style, like chopping them all up individually and then TIG welding together, which is
Actually
pretty
really cool.
And these are all 700s, so the same as our show car and the same as the red car, same as the blue turd, which is pretty exciting.
With Marty's thirst for K cars momentarily quenched, we're back on the road heading through some beautiful countryside. And by the looks of the cars going past, we must be close. Yes, we've arrived at Suzuka Twin Circuit, and after a short drive through the forest to the entry, we're ready to unload the Fairlady.
In Japan, of course, cars come with emergency flares. This one here, this is the original Nissan flare that came with this car, and this is the expiry date. Now 50, they use a different calendar to us, so that's 50 years of a particular emperor, but that 50 is the equivalent to 1975, which is the year that this car was made, and the 53 is the expiry date. So this particular flare expired in 1978, was made in 1975, and has been sitting in that car for around 42 years. That is awesome.
With the car unloaded, we are ready to hit the track, and we are the only ones here today.
This is it, mate.
Yeah, man.
We are at the track. This is Suzuka Twin. We've owned this car for less than a day, and we're about to take it out on the circuit.
It's going to be awesome. There's no one here.
There's no one here. We are the only ones on the track.
You have a full license to drive at Suzuka Twin. There's no one here. It's perfect dry summer weather.
It's amazing, Martin. You have to open the door, of course, to put your seatbelt on.
Yep.
That's just one of the quirks of
I might just
owning an awesome car.
I might just remove these.
Get rid of those. There's some vintage flares, mate. They're super old.
There's even a new one. I'm not sure you need that either.
I reckon let's get rid of those.
Yeah. You good to go, man. Have fun. Don't bin it.
I won't. It's got to get on a boat tonight. Just doing a check of the car before we go out. Arigatou gozaimasu. What's amazing about this place, you can come down anytime and just pay 50 bucks and you can drive around the racetrack. Takes about 5 minutes to sign in and then you're good to go. We really need more things like this in Australia. This is absolutely amazing. A dream come true, really, to buy a Fairlady Z and then be out here tracking it on a track all by myself in Japan. It's just absolutely amazing. It handles amazingly well. This car is not completely factory. The previous owner has done wheels, tyres, brakes and also suspension, but that's all the basics that you need for a great track day. It's 110 down the straight. A little bit of sideways. It feels amazing. I'm lost for words because it just feels so good. I lost it. All part of the learning. So, it's great getting to go for a little drive, of course, but now it's probably time to show you what car Marty brought to Suzuka Twin.
You are not by yourself, my friend. I am in a Honda Beat K-Car Power.
The Honda Beat is an early 90s K car that's powered by a 660cc naturally aspirated engine that redlines up near 9,000 RPM, punching out 60 horsepower. This one's a mad stripped out track nugget that I also picked up sight unseen off the internet for $300.
It's red, it's rear engine, it's kind of slow, it's got a roll cage, and it's freaking awesome.
Have you come here to battle me, Martin? You think your little 600cc Honda Beat K car with your 600cc engine is going to battle the grandfather of JDM, is that correct?
This is the ultimate battle of the ultimate sports coupes, my friend. We're at a proper Japanese race circuit, and we have two incredible sports cars right here. You may have me in capacity, but I have all the K car spirit that makes these cars brilliant on my side.
I'll line you up at the start of the straight, Martin, and Granddaddy's about to give you a spanking.
No chance.
This is it, Fairlady Z versus Honda Beat.
Third honk and it's on. Are you ready?
Come on, Honda Beat! Come on, Honda Beat! You can do this!
See you, mate.
I think he's gonna get... I revved it out to 8,000 RPM. I might have him. Yes! Whoa, I'm going in way too hot to this corner. I'm gonna see if I can pull away from this granddaddy of a thing. Whoa. On the ripple strips. Come on, revs. I'm revving this out to 8,000 RPM. Turning in. Oh, I don't know. What a nugget. What an absolute nugget. Turning in tight. Yeah, this track's freaking awesome. Listen to that Honda power.
Come on, Grandpa. I'm gonna take you on the right. Go tight round the corner. See you, mate. See you, mate. Have a good day. It's nice knowing you. Thanks so much for coming down today.
8,500 RPM. This is awesome. Oh, Granddad's having some trouble holding on. Granddad's a little bit incontinent, slipping all over the place. Oh, actually, he's just pulling away because he's really fast. That's a big slide. See you, buddy. Granddad lost his lunch.
Now, for Nissan people everywhere, I'm going to show you that even though I've just spun out and stopped, that I will still get past this Honda without the slightest bit of a problem. Here we go.
I'm doing 75, 85, 90, not even 100 k's an hour. I won't even get up to 100 k's an hour.
Wide, around this corner here.
If I can just keep my speed up through these little corners here.
I'm catching the young fella.
Triple strip, here we go, 9,000, hit the rev limiter. Oh, I think he's coming up, he's gonna catch me. Here we go. Keep the revs up, turn in tight, come on little Honda Beat, on the brakes. Here we go. He's catching me, but I'm gonna see if I can hold him off. I've gone up, too deep, ah, no.
Come on, Fairlady Z! Shot!
Oh, I got chopped. See you, buddy! Old Granddad just can't hold on to his dinner. Chop! Because the ever reliable Honda will just keep going.
I might have to pass a car, but it doesn't mean that you're going to win the race.
Considering how different these cars are both in their power and in their reputation, it's incredible just how evenly matched they are.
If I really ring and snag, I think I can just hold you off, but not easily. Oh, that's red. I can hear suspension bits knocking around. If I do this track perfectly, if I get the lines just right, with no tyre squeal and really late braking, and just easing it into these corners and powering out, I can just hold him off, just. Doesn't have much on the straight, but it's definitely got grip where it needs it. Hold on, yes! Shift.
I'm going to try and not drift around this corner and see if that helps me. Excuse me, mate.
Oh, he's definitely got power on me there. Oh man, I just can't make any mistakes if I want to keep up with him. That was too deep. I won't have the legs to catch him. He shifted hard. Brake brake. I can brake later, definitely. Power on, power on, power on. See if I can get a little bit back on this straight.
The young fella's having a little bit of trouble keeping up with Grandpa by the looks of things.
Overcooked it. Oh no, that's embarrassing. I just overcooked it and almost spun out.
Now Marty, I think probably because this car is such an icon of Japanese automotive history, there's now a large group of Japanese people up on turn 1. So I'm going to attempt to do what needs to be done, mate.
Okay, what's that?
I'm going to give the old grandpa a couple of skid marks in his undies, and I really hope I don't mess this up in front of a Japanese audience. Here we go, mate. Dory, Dory and Grandpa.
You got this. Yes, hold it, hold it, hold it. Yeah, dude.
Yes! Yes!
That's awesome.
Well done, young fella.
Honda Beat, you have surpassed all expectations of what you would be as a race car. Just a free little thing to smash around this circuit. Just the temperature didn't move, it used no fuel, it was pinging off the limiter at 8,500 RPM, and it kept up pretty well with Grandpa, pretty well. I think Grandpa's got legs in him yet still. Not going to the retirement village just yet.
We've had an awesome day in these two very different but incredible Japanese cars that we bought sight unseen off the internet. But now it's time to farewell Suzuka Twin and make our way back, because we've got some space booked on a container ship that's heading to Australia.
It was a plot twist, Martin, that you bought a car too.
And of course I chose something. Of course I chose something with yellow number plates. As long as it has yellow number plates, I'm happy as.
So we booked the track for 2 hours. We are the only people here. It costs like $50, I think, or $50 an hour to come down here. We were going to use a second track as well, and then we said we didn't need it. They just gave us our money back.
Yeah.
So there you go, cool, have half your money back if you're not going to be driving over there. It makes so much sense. But this is what's amazing, Martin. This is a 2-litre engine, naturally aspirated car from the 70s. Yours is a 600cc little K car from the 90s and down the straight. What year model is it?
I don't even know, early 90s I think.
Down the straight, they were the same.
Yeah.
Which is either really good or really bad.
Well, I think old love here, old mate, whatever we're going to call it, is a little bit on the heavier side.
Old mate.
Being made out of, I think it needs to be called old mate, made out of metal. And a lot of the Honda Beats made out of plastic, let's be honest. But it also has a cage, it's nice and stiff. We put reasonably good tyres on it. I mean, they're old and expired, but they were good when they were new.
I mean, this was great because, I mean, it's got coilovers, it's got R33 brakes, it's got Bridgestones, it's got aftermarket wheels. And as a car, it's just, like, it's a beautiful looking car. It drives really well. The back kicks out really, really predictably. I just feel like it actually needs more power, you know? I guess maybe it's because we're used to driving fast cars and modern cars, but it's like, I just feel like it needs a bit more. But maybe that's something we can attend to later.
How does this compare with your whole, like, your Nissan philosophy? Like, that versus the 180, like, what is it? What's the difference?
I think the difference is the 180 is something that is like, the 180 is like fast food. You feel dirty when you consume it, but it's kind of fun and it feels like a treat. Whereas this here is like homemade bread. Yeah. It's more effort, it's more work.
But it's not fast food.
It's not fast food, it's fine food. That's what this is.
Fairlady Z, Fairlady Z?
Z's American, mate.
It is.
In Japan, they call them Z.
Z.
And I think we should revert to what they call things in Japan.
Totally.
And that's what they call it.
There's a whole bunch of rules. It can be quite tricky for foreigners to go and do stuff like this, but it is possible. You just got to have all your ducks in a row. You got to have an international driver's license. Obviously you need to either speak language or have someone who can help you get through some of those hurdles. You are, as a foreigner, allowed to come here and bring a car here if you can get your hands on a car. There's a few things to do with insurance, all that kind of stuff, but there is multiple ways of doing it, and I would highly recommend it as a fun activity.
Bring a car, pay $50. There's a drift circuit over there. There's the race circuit over there. It's quiet, it's beautiful, surrounded by trees. Like, just have a listen. Just nature.
And how about that for an idea? $50 an hour at a racetrack. Oh look, it's midday on a Sunday. I might head down to my local racetrack and pay $50 and cut laps until I'm either bored or my car explodes, and then go home. Like,
it's amazing.
Brilliant idea.
And here's the thing, if we had this in Australia, people would use it.
I would use it.
They would absolutely use it.
Yep.
Maybe we need to start our own.
That'd be cool.
It's probably expensive.
It's probably very expensive.
We could do like a go fund our track thing.
Very, 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 very cool.
Anyway, so next steps from here, of course, is tonight. This car is going.
We leave Suzuka Twin to take the Fairlady back to get ready for shipment to Australia. And it gets us thinking, it's crazy that it's been 10 years since we uploaded our first video onto this new website called YouTube. And now a decade later, we've made hundreds of films and been lucky enough to travel all around the world, driving nuggety cars and meeting amazing people from all over the planet. We never imagined in our wildest dreams that this would have been possible, and I guess that's the thing, you never really know where you're going or what's going to happen next, so you have to make your own adventures, make the most out of each day, and hopefully drive some mad cars along the way. So thank you to everyone who has watched and supported Mighty Car Mods over the last 10 years. We could not have done this without you, and we're so glad that you've come along with us for the ride.